People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in. Now, the window is shut. There's still a lot of talking points. You know, Saliba could potentially go to the Championship. As you know, in relation to the Premier League registration sort of business that we need to do, it was a bit of touch and go, and it was something in the back of many minds as Arsenal fans. Charles Watts has been reporting, you know, Arsenal are facing a big decision, or Arteta is, because he needs to chop 2 players from his 25-man squad. He'll have to leave out 2 non-homegrown players when he submits his list. Obviously, that could have been Guendouzi. I know his age means he's not eligible yet to be registered. He can actually play, but when you look at the Sokratises, the Ozils, you know, Sokratis, Ozil will probably be the 2 for me. You know, Mustafi's probably thrown into that, but I feel based off the back of last season, and especially if Saliba goes out on loan, he might say, you know what, Mustafi, if your opportunity comes, it comes, sort of thing. So yeah, man, as you lot know, if you don't know, you know, we've got until October the 20th to submit our 25-man squad list. I think we have until the 16th to loan or bring in players on a permanent basis, either leaving or coming in, to do with the Championship and the domestic window. So that's why it's the 20th, allegedly. Premier League rules state that clubs have until October 20th to submit their 25-man squad list, which must feature a maximum of 17 must feature a maximum of 17 and a minimum of 8 non-homegrown players. But Arsenal's addition of Thomas Partey from Atletico, and more importantly the failure to find takers for players at the club, we've been looking to move on, meaning Arteta currently has 18 non-homegrown players in his squad. The transfer window is still open for Premier League clubs to do business in the Footballing League until the 16th of October, Charles Watts said. But as I've just said, you know, and you lot know, whether they are of the ability or not, can you see Sokratis, Mustafi, Ozil, Kolasinac will not be involved in this, but Kolasinac as well, you know, none of them are dropping to the Championship. They're all on big money. Why would you want to? And to be fair, they can all play in higher leagues, regardless of what you feel. But we're in a bit of a conundrum. And again, you know, in the same way, if we moved some of these players on, we might be more flexible and not talking about this. We could have probably brought in a creative player. But as we know, it's a double whammy. These players are on comfortable contracts. They're mediocre players on high wages. I think Ozil's a bad boy baller, but he's not playing like that. Definitely Sokratis shouldn't be on 95 bags. In this COVID environment, with the ages they're all at, you're not in any rush. Arsenal wants them to move on more than they want to move on. Like, they're all professional, they all want to play games, I'm sure. They're all hurting when they're probably not in the team. But at the same time, we've got to recognise finances, and they're all at important times, you know. Sokratis doesn't have long. Mesut Ozil has 1 year left on this contract, and he's not getting this elsewhere. Mustafi is not getting the money he wants elsewhere because he's just not good enough. I know, ironically, in terms of age, Mustafi's probably in his prime, but you get the point. We need to leave out 2 players, people. Apparently, Arteta said it's something that's been troubling him. He said, I'm really happy with all the boys and the way they're training, but selection is getting more complicated. And with this new rule of having just only 18 players in the squad, it makes it very difficult. Obviously, we were hoping to move players on before the deadline. Saliba is not relevant, but Saliba could have, because he's under 18. I swear you don't have to register under 18 players. Provided that you've got the homegrown laws in place. He was spoken of going out on loan. You know, you moved on Guendouzi and Torreira. There was talk of Sokratis and Mustafi. Clearly, it's come to nothing. Kolasinac, for whatever reason, he didn't move to Leverkusen, so that's put a spanner in the works, people. So we're at a bit of a disadvantage. Obviously, you've got Callum Chambers. Chambers will probably registered because of the homegrown law. I'm not too sure if Mustafi counts as homegrown, having spent a time in his youth career at Everton. I'm not too sure. I know Football Manager he does. I don't know if that means anything in real life. We've got 8 centre-halves, so a decision needs to be made. Clearly, you know, Ozil's not featuring it at all, but I can't lie, people, whether I believe Ozil should be frozen out or integrated, regardless of what you feel. You know, in the same way, we've got a man that's £350, you know, 350k a week, sorry, not in the squad for an FA Cup fixture, FA Cup final. You know, can we afford to leave our highest earner out of the Premier League squad? Whether he's playing or not, you know, it doesn't sit right, it doesn't look right, and we might need to call upon him, really and truly. And it doesn't look right, you know. If he's going to be here for a year, again, he's going to have a marginalised role, but we should at least give ourselves the luxury of using him if it needs to be, beyond just the cup competitions, people. And is he going to do that to his former teammate? I'm not too sure, but he's shown his ruthless streak. people. You know, it's his last year. You know, in 2.5 months, Ozil could talk to people for free. It would probably really force Ozil to move on, at least, because he's not playing if he doesn't want to stay. But it's a tough decision, you know. I don't know who he's going to call. I think it's going to be Ozil and Sokratis personally. I don't know who else it can be. We've also got to submit our Europa League list by the end of today, people. And if Saliba is to be registered, he has to be registered as a senior player. So, of course, Saliba could still be registered and still go out on loan. But we've got decisions to make quickly, people, if that makes sense. I personally feel it's going to be Mustafi who misses out. Ozil as well. Sokratis and Ozil, apologies. But I'm trying to work out our homegrown players, like who's classified as homegrown. I'm trying not to include the young ones. The young ones will probably have to be registered just for the sake of it. But you've got Rob Holding, you've got Callum Chambers, pardon me, you've got technically Hector Bellerin, you've got Maitland-Niles. Tierney, is it a Britain thing? Is it in Scotland? I don't know. Let's put asterisks over Tierney and just throw Tierney into that. We've lost Martinez. You know, you probably have to register the Joe Willocks, the Reece Nelsons, the Emil Smith-Rowes, the Eddie Nketiahs and players like that. I don't think I'm missing out any other English players within our team. So we probably have to. You know, there's been a lot of question marks over several players, even players that I don't feel will be going through this. But I think it's going to be Ozil and Sokratis. I can't see anyone else, you know. The homegrown law, I think, you know, will point towards Chambers being registered, but there's even every reason for Chambers not to be registered. Chambers could very much well secure a loan move to the Championship. I see him being one of the players that could do that. He needs to play football. It is quite harsh because, you know, Arteta used him against Chelsea, and I think Chambers did all right in the little opportunities he got last season. And, you know, if he never got injured, maybe Mustafi wouldn't have ever got a little resurgence in this Mikel Arteta side, people. I don't know. But it is a dodgy one. We're going to see it reach a conclusion. For me, it's going to be Sokratis and Ozil, because Ozil is playing no part. Sokratis has been marginalised from last season. Logic tells you it should be those two, surely. But I don't know. If Chambers goes, that could obviously throw things on its head and whatnot. It could be Chambers and Sokratis, Ozil still registered. On one hand, while I think it will be Sokratis and Ozil, something tells me Ozil will still be registered as a Premier League footballer. Who knows, maybe the landscape would be different if Lacazette left, who was linked with moves away. El Nene's had a resurgence, and the whole Kolasinac, the Sokratises, all these players that were linked with moves away, people. Even Aubameyang at a point. But we're at where we're at. So I'm keen to see what happens, but we don't know what's going to happen yet. So I'll be here to react when these things do happen, but that's the latest news in relation to anything concerning Arsenal. I'm off to edit the videos I've recorded now. Please check out my other videos in the meantime. On that note, like I said, please comment, like, subscribe, support all of my platforms, people. Make sure you're checking out the DG podcast across YouTube, but it's also on Spotify, Apple, and the rest of it. I need you lot to support that one a bit more. But on that note, it's always a pleasure. Please stay safe, people. Until we buck up again, DG, I'm out.